The Paladins and the Catamounts set to do battle as the Southern Conference season heats up here in Greenville. Bryant Lambert alongside Terrence Oglesby with you here tonight. And Terrence, this Catamount team coming off a big win a week ago thanks to Nicholas Robinson, the grad transfer.
The Chicago native, his scoring has been remarkably consistent this year. All but 2 games in double figures, including a 28-point output against East Carolina. And he does it in a lot of different ways, inside, outside. When he's aggressive, the Catamounts are at their best.
For the Paladins, it's Conley Garrison, another graduate transfer, and boy, did he pull the Paladins big in the second half against ETSU.
Well, you need this veteran presence if you're Furman, and Conley Garrison is exactly that. A quality athlete on the defensive end, and he does a little bit of everything for you. Unselfish, can shoot the rock when your team needs an extra bucket. And look at my man get up. 2 hands, 2 feet. Get back on defense, and let's play ball.
Jalen Slauson set to jump against Rackus, the redshirt junior out of Wichita, Kansas. That's 6'10", going against 6'7". The Paladins, tough loss on Saturday at Chattanooga. 2-point loss, came down to the final bucket, looking to bounce back here, and an opportunity to do so at home, Terrence, where they don't lose a lot.
Got significantly out-rebounded. That's obviously going to be a point of emphasis moving into this game. Paladins need to take care of the boards in order to be successful.
There you see the starting 5 for the Catamounts. And look, this is a team mix. Freshman talent, veteran talent, a good mix for this Catamount team up in Cullowhee under head coach Justin Gray.
And I talked to Coach Justin Gray before the season. He said, look, there is a lot of roster turnover. So we're going to dig deep in junior colleges. We're going to dig deep in the transfer portal and get as much talent as we can. But you're going to have to do a little bit better offensively than that to open up the game. Furman has showed up ready to play.
Shot clock violation. Catamounts come in averaging just over 13 turnovers a game as you see the Paladins starting 5. And tell you what, it's not a one-man show for this Furman team. Any 5 of those can go off for double digits any night.
Well, Bothwell, Slauson, and Hunter are obviously the focal points, but the fact of the matter is they play so well together. Quick trigger by Hunter, but they play so well together that any guy is liable to go off. And who hits their first one? Conley Garrison, the main man, the Division II Drury University transfer, has been terrific over the last 2 games.
Garrison, 47% on the season from beyond the arc. We talked about what he did a week ago against ETSU. Terrence did take a shot in that first half, and then a second half to be remembered for the graduate student. Ball sent to the corner, through the hands, back-to-back turnovers as Robinson couldn't corral it. Tell you what, Furman, you talked about rebounding. Chattanooga gave up 12 offensive rebounds in that game. Coach Ritchie really battled on Monday getting the rebounds as you take a look at this series history between the Catamounts and Furman. Terrence, recently it's been all Furman between these 2 teams.
Well, I mean, it's not an easy job up in Cullowhee, but Justin Gray's trying to load up on athleticism and length and hopes to change that from here on out.
Sent Hunter. That was just short. Offensive board. Slauson has it poked away, and here come the Catamounts. Robinson into the front court, stripped out of bounds. Will stay with Western Carolina. As you take a look at first-year head coach Justin Gray, former assistant at Winthrop, somebody you're familiar with through the ACC.
Big-time player when he was in college, played alongside Chris Paul. A lot of people know him, future NBA Hall of Famer, but Justin Gray was a really good player in his own right. First-team All-ACC. Spent over 12 years abroad playing in multiple countries.
Slauson, his 3rd rebound, and the Paladins give it right back. Albright, junior out of Albany, Georgia, and now the Catamounts still looking for their first points 2 minutes into this first half. Baycoat, far side, shot clock now again under 10. Harris has it poked away, a late whistle, foul. Looks like they're going to get Jalen Slauson for the reach-in.
That was a good call, all except for the last 2 seconds. That was a fantastic defensive possession. And Coach Ritchie, you see his record here at Furman, youngest coach to ever reach 100 wins here on this campus. Has a fantastic future. Coaches defense really well. We're going to get into that a little bit later. Offensively gifted, sure. This team really scrappy on the defensive end.
Yeah, big-time recruiter as well. Has landed some big-time prospects since he's taken over the head job here in Greenville 5 years ago. Woolbright into the lane, turnaround, and woefully short. And here come the Paladins quickly. Furman's a team that likes to get out and run, and then will run the secondary break better than anyone. Bothwell thinks about a 3, now takes it. That's off the mark. Rebound taken down by the Catamounts. Furman just 1 of 4 now in the early going from long range. Harris, pump fake, sends it back out near side, Petrakis. And you talked about Furman's defense, Terrence. It's been strong here early.
We're doing a nice job closing gaps and closing space. There hasn't been an open shot yet. Forced 2 turnovers on the first 2 possessions, but obviously the outlet pass needs to be a little bit better. That's the only way that Western Carolina's been able to find anything offensively.
Catamounts get on the board, 1 point Palin in lead. We talked a little bit about that Furman game up in Chattanooga. That was the 4th straight game where Slauson had at least 20 points. He had 22 in Saturday's contest at Chattanooga. Back out to Hunter, open 3-pointer. That's off the mark. Hunter 0 of 3 from long range early. That's rare for the Paladin senior that comes in 42% from long range, and it's going to be an offensive foul. And the ball back over to Furman.
Excellent job, Kylie Garrison, retreating back in transition, knowing that he's going to attack his right hand. Jumps on that high side, does an excellent job staying in position. And Bryant, you don't have to be set. You have to have legal guarding position. Woolbright a little bit too antsy to get to the rim. Good job, Garrison, staying in front and drawing the charge.
Joe Anderson in for the Paladins. He's another
He's been good
dynamic
lately.
player, yeah. Tell you what, he's a player that earned himself on the court time. Coach Ritchie's saying, hey, beginning of the year, he practiced well. And now he's big-time contributor for the Paladins as Mike Bothwell gets off the glass. Also in for the first time for Furman, Tyrese Huey, the freshman out of Columbus, Ohio, a player, Terrence, who had the red shirt pulled off, and he's paid dividends here.
Absolutely. Good athlete, physical player, especially on the defensive end, and can help you on the boards. Furman, again, just active off the ball. That's a tough shot. Good job by Bothwell off the ball to contest.
Late whistle and a foul coming in by Chase Shaw. Will be 2 shots when we come back. We'll talk about the Paladins' defensive efficiency on the other side. Furman with an early 3-point lead. Welcome back to Timmons. Brian Lehman alongside Terrence Ogilvie. And Terrence, Furman up 5-2 here early, but it's been the defense shown out tonight, but also all season long.
Well, it's been the best defense in the Southern Conference. And for Furman, a lot of the offense gets a lot of the attention, but defensively, this team has been terrific all season. And they're a little small, Brian, but that doesn't really matter when you have guys that are able to cover ground quickly. And whenever they do try to post up Furman, their backside rotations have been crisp all season long. This is a group of guys that are long, that are athletic. Might not be the biggest group, Bryant, but they close space so fast. A fantastic defensive team here about midway through conference season. We're about midway through conference season, right? We got to be close.
Maybe a third of the way. We'll go a third.
We'll go third.
Look, math was never probably your thing.
I'm not a big math guy.
Up at Tiger Town. At the line, 2 shots for Western Carolina battling on the board. Joe Petrakis, redshirt junior out of Wichita, Kansas.
Kansas State transfer, didn't get to play a whole lot, decides to take it a little bit further east, but he's got a nice looking free throw. Good touch. He's listed at 6'10", Brian. I think that might be a little bit generous. I'm looking at about 6'8" and a half.
When did you start getting picky about the height that was listed on the roster?
When I started coaching.
Yeah,
and then you could pretty much tell right away. And then whenever you're on, when you're on college campuses, you'll see football players. You'll say, well, he's a football 6'5", he's a basketball 6'7". So it just depends on what sport you're talking about.
Foul on the rebound going against the Catamounts. It'll be Furman basketball, that last whistle.
Just for example, when I was on campus at Clemson, that's when Trevor Lawrence was there. Trevor Lawrence is easy 6'7", easily 6'7".
What's he listed at?
6'5".
There you go.
That's it.
Two different ways. Here's Huey, leaves it off to Garrison. That three-pointer's off the mark. Rebound taken down by Gilmore. Rebound's knotted at 5 here in the early going. Catamounts wanting to go out quick. Price kicks it down low, blocked by Huey from behind. What a play by the freshman.
Excellent job on a crack-back defense, if you will. Huey has been really good and active on the defensive end. Offensively, he still needs a little bit of time, but in order to get minutes, he's done all the right things on the opposite end.
Furman just 2 of 8 from the field here in the early going. Robinson quick trigger 3. That one's high off the backboard. Battle for the rebound taken down by the Catamounts. Woolbright can't get it to finish. Physical down low, and the Paladins want to go quick. Garrison, he'll take that wide open. That's off the mark. Furman getting some good looks here, uncharacteristically not going down.
Well, they're getting all their shots on the second side of the offense, and what happens when you do that, the defense is trying to recover. It works best in transition because Furman has so many guys who can knock down shots, just haven't been able to do so far.
Off the mark for Price. This Catamount team comes in 33% from long range. As a team, they're 0 of 4 here in the first 6 minutes from long range. Garrison leaves it off for Slauson down low, knocked away. Paladins turn it over for the second time. Both teams slow start here offensively. Furman with the early 5-2 advantage. We talked about Joe Anderson. That game on New Year's Day at VMI, 11 points. That was his 3rd straight double-digit game, and here comes Bothwell. Bothwell looking to finish himself. He's fouled and will go to the line to shoot 2, but Terrence, talk about Anderson. He's a player that can come off the bench. You don't feel like you're losing anything, and the confidence has grown as you take a look at another confident player in Bothwell.
Oh, and Bothwell, he is so physically strong whenever he's able to get downhill and get his shoulder in the defense's chest. He's really difficult to guard. But going back to what you were saying about Joe Anderson, I mean, a guy that didn't play in the early part of the season, had to earn his minutes. He started to shoot the ball tremendously well. That's number 22 that was in your picture right before we swapped back. But a good player, East Tennessee native, so he's close to my heart. And he has done all the right things. Came onto campus knowing that he's there to facilitate, to be kind of the second point guard when Alex Hunter comes back. But he has thrived in his role so far.
Played in 14 games this year, averaging hair under 6 points. Bothwell one more at the line, trying to push the Paladin lead out to 5, and he does. Marcus Foster will come back in. Bothwell taking a seat. Foster, tell you what, redshirt sophomore, and a player that's really come into his own, embraced the redshirt year, and then you've seen his contributions and minutes grow as Coach Ritchie and the rest of the staff grow confidence.
Well, he gained some trust, and I think that's the big part. Defensively, he has really stood out with his switchability and his length. Oftentimes, whenever you see Marcus Foster, he's on the other team's best scorer, as he is right now guarding Nicholas Robinson.
Open 3, Banks from the corner. That's off the mark. Reach side rebound battle for, and it's going to be a jump ball. Possession arrow to the Paladins. With Alex Hunter there to tie things up.
Good call. Furman needs to do a better job here in the early going of getting possessions or finishing defensive possessions with a rebound and getting out and running. They're getting plenty of open looks when they're able to do so. There's been a couple of comeback steals by Western Carolina, a couple of offensive rebounds that have gone in their way.
Catamounts just 1 of 10 here in the early going. Furman 5-point lead and the basketball. Here's Garrett Heen. Heen over to Hunter, open 3 on the way. That's off the mark. Rebound taken down by Western. Heen, I'll tell you what, you keep talking about these Paladin contributors. Heen, another one, started out strong through the season, went through a little slump, and he's starting to come back to his own.
He got a little bit of confidence, and it's amazing what happens to a young player's confidence. Nice shot by number 24, Marcus Banks from Hampton, Virginia. But it's amazing what happens when a guy makes a couple shots where their confidence grows.
Paladins turn it over, live ball into the front court. Banks sent far side, thought about a 3. Baycoat now on the way. That's back of the rim, rattles home, and all of a sudden, back-to-back threes. Western has their first lead at 8-7.
Marlo Gilmore, stretch 4, can knock down that shot. Doesn't shoot that many of them, but he can step out with some range as well. or excuse me, Marvin Price.
Here's Huey who thought about it. Man-to-man defense for the Catamounts. Shot clock down to 8. Here's Hunter. Now Heen with 5. Trying to back down Baco, has the ball poked away. Back-to-back turnovers, and now loose ball in the court. Try to throw it off Heen, and it'll stay with the Catamounts. 27 on the shot clock as Paladins has turned the basketball over now 5 times. Terrence, talk about the keys to the game. You won't think limit extra possessions, obviously Furman rebounding among others.
Well, if you're Western Carolina, you got to withstand those runs, and it kind of goes back and forth with the run it up for Furman. Whenever they're getting rebounds and taking off and running, that's whenever they are able to produce solid shooting opportunities. But Western Carolina just needs to withstand runs. Furman can score 15, 20 points in a hurry. You have to be able to limit those runs.
Approaching the under 12 timeout. Three-pointer, that's off the mark. Big battle for the rebound out of bounds. It'll be Furman basketball as JP Pegues was battling there. Paladin freshman out of Nashville. When we come back, back-to-back threes have the Catamounts up 1 here in Greenville. Bryant Lambert, Terrence Oglesby back with you. Taking a look at the Southern Conference standings. Here's the Catamounts taking on the Furman Paladins. Furman a half game out of first place, sitting at 4-2 behind the Mocs. Western Carolina coming off a loss against the Terriers last time out, sitting at 2-3. But it's that point in the season things start separating out a little bit.
Well, you look at those top 3. Furman played Mercer, and it was an absolute blowout. A bad matchup for Mercer. Almost got one at Chattanooga, which is a very difficult place to play. Chattanooga, much like Furman, has a big 3 of their own. So all around, tough effort. You got close on the road. Now you hope to get one back against Chattanooga.
That Furman victory against the Citadel earlier in this season, that was back in the Southern Conference opener in 2012. That's when Furman held an opponent to under 50 points, 77-45. So we got some of that Furman defense. Could see that again against a Southern Conference opponent if defense keeps up like this. Paladins go back up by 1. Bothwell 6 points, leading all Paladin scorers. Robinson working against JP Pegues, sends it near side, 3-pointer on the way. Baycode off the mark. Rebound battled for, grabbed by the Paladins. Coming down with it was Marcus Foster. See, Terrence, how quickly Furman wants to get out and go with it. There's Foster, nice job staying patient, did everything but make the layup.
Well, you see his lower body strength, able to get into the paint and stop on a dime. He's running full speed. Difference between redshirt sophomore and a senior, and Mike Bothwell, who's able to hold his feet and still be able to finish a couple of possessions ago. But nonetheless, that's something that Coach Ritchie and his team work on a lot, maintaining jumping off of both feet in order to keep your balance when getting in the paint.
Again, shot clock down to 5. Skip pass, sends it over, 3-point on the way. Woolbright, that's off the weak side of the rim, but an offensive rebound taken down by the Catamounts. They're 4th. Trying for second chance points, that's no good. And Marcus Foster yet with another rebound. Foster to Bothwell and now Slauson. Double team comes in the corner, now wide open Marcus Foster. It's Bothwell along the baseline. And Terrence, every time a Paladin catches, you see help defense coming there. It doesn't matter. Finish with the left hand.
Well, it was an interesting possession earlier in the possession, if you will. Jalen Slauson receives a catch about 16 feet out, and they send a double team right away. That's going to open up some things on the backside for Furman in order to have different opportunities to attack the rim. Interesting to see how Jalen Slauson handles that, and that's a poor job on his part. That'll be 2 fouls, both of which come on a reach call.
Second on Slauson. There you see talking to head coach Bob Ritchie. He'll come out of the basketball game as Tyrese Huey checks back in. Furman with a 3-point lead. Besides the fact there's 1 of 9 from downtown here in the first 10 minutes.
Not a good job by Slauson. He's supposed to get out there and show his chest on a hard hedge, but he puts his arm out there and pushes the ball hand. That's not something you're going to be able to get away with. He's going to do a better job. His team needs him. He's been the focal point of a lot of their elbow actions. Whenever he's in the basketball game, Furman is significantly better.
Coming to the lane, sent to the corner and deflected by Garrison. He couldn't corral it. He'll stay with the Catamounts. Just 4 to shoot again is Conley Garrison. Tell you what, deflection.
Is there a more active defender for this Furman team? His ability to close space, stay in the passing lane, and still showing help is really, really good. That's kind of what you expect for an older player like Conley Garrison.
Coach Ritchie said Garrison, one of the smartest, if not the smartest basketball player he's coached, always in the right spot. Shot clock at 1, off the rim, rebound JP Pakeef. Another player that's coming into his own. Foster now will slow things down. Furman with the basketball and a 3-point lead. Bothwell looking to drive baseline. There's the double team. Out to Garrison. Huey. Nice floater. Terrace kind of the pump fake, got him the half step, and that's all Tyrese Huey needed to push the lead to 5.
Solid up fake. Petrakis went for it just enough, but what a tough finish off the wrong foot. And the Paladins continue to be active defensively. Not a whole lot of driving lanes. Oh, he might have got
away with the walk there. Marcus Banks, pivot push swivel. Coach Ritchie calling for the walk. Now again, shot clock at 5, nowhere to go. Ball knocked away, and he'll stay with Western with 4 to shoot. And tell you what, Coach Ritchie talking to Tim Corner, Chase Saul, Vladimir Warrior-Tuttle, and Terrence, he may have a case there.
I don't think there's any question it was a walk. I'm not sure the referee was looking directly at the ball. Referees, of course, are supposed to look at several different spots, and good job by Furman, staying disciplined in their defense, not going for the up fake, and forcing the shot clock violation.
Second shot clock violation for Western Carolina. Terrence, it seems almost every possession for these Catamounts getting under 10, under 5 on the shot clock, right in line with what you talked about the Paladins, the defensive efficiency.
Well, their ability to switch on the backside and X out, I think that's a big thing. Even though that's not your man, if you're the closest one to it and you have a head of steam, you can get there. And they do a fantastic job of communicating on the defensive end as well. Western Carolina, though, not bad themselves here in the early going, forcing a lot of tough shots going away. But how about Mike Bothwell coming off a downstream, setting his feet and knocking it through?
11 points, already in double digits for the senior out of Cleveland Heights, Ohio. And now Furman running the other way. Thought they had a steal. And they're going to get a foul against Tyrese Huey. See if you can't get another look at that one. It's all about Furman going the other way. Just the 4th Furman team foul, but that might have stopped a fast break. Furman doubling up Western, 16-8, a 9-0 run over the last 3 minutes. Defense holding strong. Robinson battling down low. Ball kicked out, open 3-pointer on the way. Woolbright off the mark. Catamount struggling. Hunter quickly into the front court. He'll slow things down. Let's talk a little bit about that kind of secondary break. You don't necessarily get it initially, but you don't slow down, let the D get set, you keep attacking.
Well, no doubt. Whenever they see something, they see too many defenders going back. Furman doing a nice job of pulling it out, but what a move by Tyrese Huey. Up and over the 6'10" big man off the wrong foot. And he's got Furman up 16-8 heading into the media.
Count to 10.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, that's it.
Make sure you're.
It's here in front of me. I don't know. Okay. Yeah, pump me up just a little bit.
Matt. Furman stretching the lead here, 16-8. Western Carolina first-year head coach Justin Gray. We talked about his time with Chris Paul, but you think a tough job up in Cullowhee, he could be the man for it.
Yeah, and it's tough. You really have to be able to over-recruit that area. Western Carolina, not the top of the conference in terms of spending and venue, if you will, but Justin Gray could be the guy for the job. He was a terrific player and comes back. Spent only 2 years as an assistant coach before getting a Division I head coaching job. That tells you a lot about the level of respect that some of the ADs around the country have for this young coach.
Spent some time overseas playing, as did yourself. Furman with the basketball, 8-point lead. Bothwell been lighting it up early. He has 11 on 4-7 shooting. Here's Hunter. Shot clock under 10. Where Bothwell looks to just step back and try to get a shot up.
I'll tell you what, you called it.
And off the mark.
Hey, we talked about Furman's defense. Western Carolina's defense has been sharp, closing gaps quick, eliminating driving angles. And whenever you're playing behind Furman, and what I mean by that is whenever they're able to penetrate and kick out and create all these chain reactions, it makes it really difficult on the defense. Western Carolina has limited that, not only doing that in the half court, but getting back in transition as well. Low-scoring ball game. Low-scoring midweek ball game. Western Carolina hasn't been able to hit anything. 3 of 19 from the field.
Furman comes in averaging about 78 points a game. The Catamounts 76 points. So Furman holding the Catamounts below their averages. Bothwell gets bumped, no call. A lot of contact, letting him play through it. Ball passed up to Price. Price throws it up, and now Tyrese Huey wants a call. Coach Ritchie fired up. Be a couple missed calls and have an animated conversation. Will be the Catamounts at the line shooting too.
Well, he wants them on both ends, but nice drive by number 13, Marvin Price, getting out and running in transition. And Huey, I mean, that's a foul. You come across the arms like that, that's going to be a foul call. But at the same time, Furman probably deserves a call back on the other end. Only 2 free throws for Furman. This will be 3 and 4 for Western Carolina. Referees are letting them play so far this game.
That free throw stops a 6-minute scoring drought for Western Carolina. Chase Shaw having a lengthy conversation with Paladin head coach Bob Ritchie on the near sideline. One more shot from Marvin Price, the junior out of Baltimore, Maryland, knocks them both down. Just a 61% free throw shooter on the season before those two.
Yeah, number 13, Price, actually started his college career at Ohio University. Former Bobcat, then went to Salt Lake Community College. Now he's in Western Carolina. Like we said, a lot of new faces for this Catamount basketball team.
Man-to-man defense, that's what we've seen on both ends the entirety of the first half. Pegues, he'll launch a three-pointer. That one rattles halfway down and out. And it's going to be a rebound going against the Catamounts. He'll stay with the Paladins. Marvin Price getting called for the hold.
A lot of grabbing and holding on the defensive boards for Western Carolina. And sometimes whenever you're playing against a super athletic team, you're going to have to try to get away with some of those things. But nonetheless, referees saw it before it really turned into anything else. Good call by the officials.
Joe Anderson back in, as well as Garrett Heen. Bothwell taking a seat. Marcus Foster, that's something Coach Ritchie's talked about. He's saying, hey, trusting his bench, and really has trusted his assistants too to help with that rotation, so some of his main guys are fresher in the second half. Hunter thought about a three, out to Pegues. Now Hunter, he'll take the three-pointer in front of the students, left it short. Alex Hunter, 0 of 5 from long range, uncharacteristic for the senior. Woolbright might have gotten away with another walk against Pegues. Good job by Pegues, outside, forces the pass out by Woolbright, and out of bounds, Furman basketball. And how about the defense by the kind of outman Pegues down low?
Well, I was going to say, if you love defense, you'll love this game so far. Not a whole lot of shots being made, but activity defensively, not only on the ball, but off the ball as well, has been really good for both teams. Both teams scrappy on the ball and fighting through screens. Western Carolina also switching 1 through 5, which makes things a lot more difficult.
Hunter in the lane, kicks it to Pegues. Now back out to Hunter, straight on, and knocks it down. He gets going.
And he comes back running down the floor with a smile on his face. Typically a north of 44% three-point shooter. Has struggled getting going today, but he gets his feet set. It's a surprise when he misses.
Price down low, battling, and Garrett Heen grabbing the rebounds. Furman out rebounding the Catamounts 17-15. Anderson, backdoor pass, Hunter to the corner, three on the way, Pegues, yes!
That's a big-time possession. Furman gets out and runs. They are trouble. Get them out. Pegues in the corner for three. Great pass by Joe Anderson to a cutting Alex Hunter, and he's unselfish with it. Find that opposite corner, third side offense, and that makes it really difficult to guard because guys are running back and forth trying to find a man.
6-0 run over the last 25 seconds. It started with Alex Hunter. And then Pegues, how about Heen? Starter, you talked about the rebound. Anderson to Hunter, and then what a find for Pegues, wide open, unselfish basketball. And how about, see Alex Hunter, here's already running back down for defense with his hand in the air. Talk about trusting your teammate.
Oh, big time stuff. Pegues, a guy who hasn't scored a lot of points during his early career here at Furman, but you run down to that deep corner, good things are going to happen. One, because you're taking the defense down with you. Two, because your teammates know where you're going to be, and that's target practice. From right underneath the goal, might as well have your family rebounding for you. That's the kind of shot that is, and there wasn't anybody within 8 feet of him.
Furman now shooting 36% from the field for this first half. Catamounts just 3 made field goals, 3 of 20 now. That's Furman outscoring the Catamounts in the paint 6-2, and Furman's largest lead now at 12.
Well, neither team is setting the world on fire. Finally, Furman's able to produce some looks, and they've all been in semi-transition.
All right, goes it all the way to the glass, misses the layup, and now stepping on the baseline was Robinson. Ball back over to the Paladins. You see out of that timeout, looks like Coach Gray wanted them to attack, and did a good job getting to the glass, couldn't finish.
Well, they're trying to get downhill and maybe draw a foul or two, but only 6 free throws on the day for both teams. Hasn't been a whole lot going, only 10 total foul calls.
Slauson's been quiet, hasn't had a shot attempt, and those 2 fouls been sitting. Pegues into the lane, out to Slauson, one more to Anderson. Now three-pointer, 3 in a row for Joe Anderson. How about Coach Ritchie trusting Jalen Slauson right now? A leader upperclassman, the senior out of Somerville. Back out there with those 2 fouls.
Well, the ball continues to move. Initially, Furman has had a hard time getting into the paint at will. So what does Coach Ritchie do? He throws it directly in there to Jalen Slauson. Whenever he brings that extra defender, it might as well be the same as penetrating and kicking. It's the same action. And what that does, it starts that chain reaction. As you see, Furman just continues to get a couple of open shots. And my main man, who else? Joe Anderson continues to knock him in. He has been on fire as of late.
24 to run for the Paladins. The lead now sits at 18. Furman's hit their last 4 from beyond the arc. Almost stripped and taken away by Anderson. Catamounts in desperate need of a basket. Media under 4 the next whistle. Harris now into the lane within his bay coat. Over to the corner, Tyler Harris thought about a 3. Now step back, open look, and that one won't go. Battle for the rebound, taken down by Slauson. Danger time here for the Catamounts. Corner, Pegues, can he do it again? Yes!
Oh, forget about it.
5 in a row from long range and a timeout.
Man, it's been transition offense that has taken the lid off of the basket. First of all, Pegues starts one out. Next, Joe Anderson, and I think you're going to be able to see this Joe Anderson 3 right over the top. A high arcing shot, and it has opened the game up for the Furman Paladins.
Paladins doing their best Terrence Oglesby impression here after starting slow. Terrence just firing on all cylinders from long range.
Well, it's either been in transition offense or the ball is starting to move. And whenever Furman makes 2 guys guard the ball, you're in trouble because they have so many guys that can knock down shots. They lead the SoCon in three-point percentage for a reason, and that's because they're unselfish and they play for each other. These guys have 4 guys on the floor at all times who you can rely on to make a shot.
Paladins now 44% from the field, 39% from long range. And you and I were talking on the timeout, hey, Furman have the lead, not shooting well. All of a sudden, a couple shots go down. A team like this, if you see one go in, everybody starts thinking they've made it.
Well, buckets are contagious on occasion. I mean, you look at guys, Joe Anderson hit the first, or Pegues hit the first one, Joe Anderson hit the second, and then the lid just blew off. But what's impressed me the most is the defense has stayed consistent so far for Furman. Western Carolina struggling to really get any kind of solid look.
3-pointer on the way, Petrakis, and he rattles it home.
And he
stops the big Paladin run.
And I'm a big fan of that because Petrakis hit a 3, turns around and shushes the crowd down 18. I'm a big fan of that.
Petrakis comes in, 33% from long range. 18-point Furman lead, approaching late stages here in the opening half.
And the ball continues to move, and whenever, wow, that's about as big a travel as I've ever seen. But Slauson, way too many steps, but they're starting to get into the paint a little bit more. There's some confusion over here on the side. But
tell you what, you go back to Petrakis, what he just did is endear himself to every fan in the arena.
I love that. I love that. But 1, 2, 3, 4 steps for Jalen Slauson.
And then he looks back and, me?
Yeah. That's what it would happen every time I got beat on defense. Who? Me?
That was my guy.
No, yeah.
Catamounts back with the basketball. Furman in the midst of 5 of their last 5 for the field, but the Catamounts have made their last 2. A quick 5-0 run coming out of the under 4 timeout. Big 2 minutes here for Western Carolina. Can you get it back down to a 12, 13 type point game, or the Paladins push it back out towards 20?
Well, if they're going to be able to drive the ball to the basket with that much ease, then I would venture to guess that they'll be able to get it back into it a lot quicker than you would expect. But Mike Bothwell getting wherever he wants. He's missed 2 layups though so far.
Team kept it alive, but couldn't quite corral it. Catamounts back with it. Ball sent over to Harris. He'll pop a quick 3. That one's short. Offensive rebound taken down by Robinson. Now Furman coming the other way. Anderson hesitates. Catamounts wanted to walk, and now Furman to set up the offense.
But that was smart. I mean, you look at Joe Anderson, he's running the break. He tries to find a cutting teammate, but the defense gets back just in time. Nice job on his part to get back, and he might be rewarded. A little bit short. That might have been a little bit out of his range.
Quickly into the front court, trying to go coast to coast, sent to the corner. Robinson, that one's off the mark, and Huey with the rebound. Furman out rebounding the Catamounts by 4. Bothwell down the left side all the way to the glass.
Wow.
Through contact, Bothwell has 13. And a quick timeout taken, use it or lose it for Coach Bob Ritchie.
Yeah, that was a grown man move by Mike Bothwell, attacking the chest of Pedrakis. We're going to get another look of Mike Bothwell here. Gets downhill. Pedrakis is late on the help, tries to jump. And Mike Bothwell is so strong in his upper body that Pedrakis just bounces off of it. He needs to get out earlier in the defensive possession to stop the basketball. At least make him hesitate to where his defender can get back in front of Bothwell. If you're late on that, what happens is Bothwell is able to hold his defender off and get all the way to the rim, and Pedrakis is put in a really bad position defensively.
Coach Ritchie talking to Joe Anderson here about those last few possessions. And tell you what, it's maybe not about the exact last thing, but wait till he comes off, always coaching, always looking at opportunities here as the clock goes under a minute in this opening half. 18-point Paladin lead. Catamounts 2 of their last 15. Pass down low, Petrakis, and he'll be fouled by Huey, and that's going to be the second on Tyrese Huey to go to the line.
And he was half a second late. An excellent pass by Bacote. If he is there a little bit earlier and in better defensive position, if he's straddling that lay line, he isn't in that position to where he's a little bit late. He has to result in a foul, because you get up near the rim, you better get up there quick, because Pedrakis is not a small person.
Knocks down the free throw. Catamounts now 3 of 5 from the line as Marcus Foster checks back in. Huey takes a seat. He has 16-second differential shot and game clock.
See number 0 down towards the bottom of your screen. JP Pegues getting extended minutes. That hasn't been the case this season, Bryant, but he's shown out here early. 2 quick threes, done a nice job defending the ball.
He's averaging just 10 minutes a game. It's going to be a jump ball possession to the Catamounts. Can't quite wait for the last shot, about a 7-second differential.
It's tough. It looked like a good pass to a cutting Garrett Heen. Goes up, loses the ball.
So, Paladins, if they can get a stop, they'll have one last crack at it, up 17. Running 40% here in this first half of the field. Maycote sends it far side. Harris pump face into the lane. Heen with a defensive block. Nice play by the sophomore out of Charlotte. Now Furman can hold for one shot if they want.
Smart move by the freshman. Get the ball out. You got 1 possession left. JP Pegues, he's going to have to attack quick, though. 6.
Over to Bothwell. 3 to shoot. Bothwell step back, left-handed 3 off the rim. And Furman, thanks to a flurry, 5 straight made 3-pointers, and then there was a little Bothwell attack at the glass, and the Paladins go up 17 here in Greenville at the half. This broadcast is brought to you in part by Bond Ingalls. Low prices, love the savings. Bond Secures bringing good help to those in need, and by BMW, the exclusive luxury vehicle for the Paladins. Furman up 17, 33-16 here at the break. Halftime stats and highlights coming up.
Welcome to the Chef's Kitchen, where Ingalls caters some of the best events anywhere. I'm Josh Michael here with Chef Clark Neal from the Ingalls table, and today we're going to show you how to make some amazing food. What are we doing here today?
Josh, we're going to do my take on chicken sliders with homemade spicy pimento cheese. I've got a rotisserie chicken, the white meat that I took off of the chicken. You can save the dark meat for another use.
And this one is already done up and cooked right there.
Oh yeah, picked it right up in the Ingalls deli, brought it home hot, shredded it.
Welcome to the Chef's Kitchen, where Ingalls caters some of the best events anywhere. I'm Josh Michael here with Chef Clark Neal from the Ingalls. Welcome to the Chef's Kitchen, where Ingalls caters some of the best events anywhere. Kitchen, where Ingalls caters some of the best events anywhere. I'm Josh Michael here with Chef Clark Neal from the Ingalls table, and today we're going to show you how to make some amazing food right there at your home. So Chef, what are we doing here today?
Josh, we're going to do my take on chicken sliders with homemade spicy pimento cheese. I've got a rotisserie chicken, the white meat that I took off of the chicken. You can save the dark meat for another use.
And this one is already done up and cooked right there.
Oh yeah, picked it right up in the Ingalls deli, brought it home hot, shredded it myself. You want the chicken to cool down before you make this salad, but what I'm going to have you do, I'm going to have you make this pimento cheese. Okay. We're going to make this with a spicy cheese called Rattlesnake. It is tequila and habanero infused white cheddar.
Wow.
You can find that in the specialty cheese case at Ingalls.
Pretty hot?
Yeah, it's pretty hot.
All right.
All right, if you'll put that in the bowl.
All right.
Then we've got some Colby Jack cheese that helps tame that heat a little bit.
Gotcha.
We've got some Laura Lynn diced pimentos in a jar that I just drained and rinsed.
Excellent.
A little bit of Laura Lynn mayo. I've got a little bit of spices to round that out. Okay. And while you're mixing that up and whipping it together to fold it to make the pimento cheese, I'm going to take a jar of our Unicoi Preserves apple cider pepper spread. This is me and my wife Susie's company, and Ingalls carries us in the deli. Got the shredded chicken that's cooled. I'm gonna add this jar of jelly to the bowl.
And that preserve, that is what makes this entire dish. You gotta have that preserve.
That's a little secret ingredient. It's not so secret now because we're showing you how to make it at home. I got a little bit of diced celery. I've got several different spices here. You can find all the ingredients amounts on the recipe that'll be published online. So Josh is folding that together. I'm gonna fold this together. We're gonna put these on some sweet Hawaiian style slider buns.
I love those.
We got a little bit of green leaf lettuce down on the bottom for crunch. We've got some of those wonderful Ingles Deli pickles that they put on their subs to top it for some acidity and crunch. You can buy those right in the deli as well. Josh, how you looking over there?
Just about done there.
All right.
Meat in the middle?
Yeah, I'm gonna meet in the middle. The chicken's gonna go down first. I'm gonna get a little spoon here. Get in here with my hands. Top that lettuce. Put a little spoonful of that
Excellent. We'll get some
pimento cheese on there.
Yes. Oh, that looks so good, Chef. What a great idea.
Look at that. We're gonna top that. That's good. We had time to make one for you and one for me.
Bam. Thanks so much for joining us here at the Chef's Kitchen. For more great recipes and to learn about having the Chef's Kitchen cater to your next event, visit thechefskitchen.com. That's thechefskitchen.com. We'll see you next time.
Bryant Lambert, Terrence Oglesby back at the half. Furman up 33-16. Mac Ritchie, Coach Bob Ritchie's son looking over the stat sheet. And tell you what, Terrence, he's got to be pretty happy with how the Paladins closed out that last, 6 minutes of the half.
Well, it was a slog for the first 14 minutes of the half, but after that, things started to open up a little bit offensively. But for Furman to hold their head above water, Mike Bothwell was really, really good. 5 of 12 from the field, 13 points while his guys couldn't really get going. And then the lid just opened up. They were creating turnovers and getting out running in transition, doing a nice job of playing whenever they were able to finish possessions. Western Carolina did a nice job too, coming back, playing a little extra defense in the full court, creating opportunities for themselves. But overall, the story has been defense for both teams until Furman, towards the end of the half, just knocking down shot after shot after shot. Over one course of time, 5 straight three-point baskets by the Furman Paladins because things started to loosen up for them offensively as far as getting into the paint.
That shot by Pegues was the 5th of 5 straight threes, part of a 15-0 Furman run. The lead got up to 21. It sits at 17 thanks to a few buckets by the Catamounts at the late of that first half. As you look at the game summary, we talked about that big run with those 5 3-pointers. It was a 15-0 run, about the 5.5-minute mark, 3.5-minute. And Terrence, you called it. It was really Furman's defense before that run that we kept looking at each other. Furman wasn't shooting the basketball well, but they were up 5-6 points thanks to the defense.
Well, we talked about it at the beginning of the game, Brian. This is the best defensive team in the SoCon right now. And it's because they're so active off the ball when it comes to help situations. They're able to recover so quickly because they have good athletes around the perimeter. Not overly big, no, but their ability to recover is second to none in this league, and it showed in the first half because Western Carolina just couldn't get dribble penetration at any level.
Points in the paint. Furman doubling up the Catamount. Bench points, Furman had 14 points off the bench. J.P. Pegues had 6 of those. So if you're Coach Justin Gray, what are you telling your team here in the locker room as you get set to start the second half?
Well, you're looking to get out and run because that's when they were able to get some open shots. You got to get stops in the half court, and then, guys, you need to fill your lanes. If you're not able to get something right away, pitch the ball back out, and then you get into some of your offensive sets. But get out, get stops, and run. Create opportunities for yourself that way. If you're Furman, you got to like what you're seeing. After giving up a lot of offensive rebounds against UT Chattanooga, Furman's out-rebounding Western Carolina, but by 7 right now, 25-18. That's significant heading into the second half.
Just 2 second-chance points for Western Carolina. We talked about how tough Furman is at home. 30 of the last 32 here inside Timmons Arena. Obviously played well downtown in the home away from home Bon Secours Wellness Arena, but tell you what, it's not a capacity crowd by any means tonight, but the energy now is what they've done over the last 5 years. It's an intimidating place to play, whether it's packed or not.
Well, it's such a unique environment in and of itself. The building is so nice. I mean, you look, you have nothing on one end, kind of a VIP area, about 6 rows on the other end, and then you have bleachers going up and down. There is a sense of, like you said, comfortability in their surroundings, and these rims must be nice and soft because typically, not tonight, but typically this team shoots the ball really well. And tonight, they haven't been bad, but it hasn't been a typical Furman performance. Students
right on the court on the far side. Furman just got new locker rooms, new team meeting area, a new film area as they redo kind of the backside of Timmons Arena with potential rumblings of further updates coming as the program continues to grow and expand and getting national attention of the teams they've beaten over the last several years. Paladins basketball to open this second half. Bothwell battling down low. Kicks it back out to Garrison, wide open 3-pointer, and that's too tough. Bothwell draws the double team. That's too easy for the grad senior.
Well, and the ball is moving from side to side. Cuts have been sharp and dribble penetration has been good. Bothwell is the guy that can do that from the perimeter because of his physical strength. And when an extra help defender comes, that's when Conley Garrison can make you pay.
Catamounts trying to respond, far corner 3. That one's off the mark. Slauson yet to score, but does have 6 rebounds. Slauson 4 straight games of 20-plus points in jeopardy. Oh, I had him on the slip right there. Bothwell looking to drive baseline out to Garrison. Can he do it again? Yes, back-to-back Bothwell to Garrison's. And tell you what, you cannot help off Conley Garrison.
Conley Garrison's a big second half guy. Only 3 in the first half. He played the other day against ETSU and went berserk. Second half opens up. He gets a little bit more aggressive. Number 51 knocking down shots.
23 points all in the second half a week ago against East Tennessee State. Looking to buy baseline rule, Brian, over to Harris. Catamounts in need of a basket early in the second half to try to stay within shouting distance. Spin in the lane, tough shot, rattles home by Nicholas Robinson.
Well, he's their leading scorer for a reason. He can hit tough shots like that. I was going to say that's another good defensive Furman possession, but at the same time, Nicholas Robinson is a talented individual scorer. He can make things happen with the ball in his hands, and whenever he has a smaller defender on him, number 25 there in your picture in purple, he can be tough to stop.
Bothwell's 13, Garrison 9 lead the Paladins. No player more than 5 for Western Carolina. That's Price. Bothwell, he'll take one top of the key. That one's off the mark. Garrison tipping it around, and it's going to be grabbed by Harris. Robinson looking to go one-on-one. Nice athletic play, and 4 straight for Robinson.
Man, a really shifty player, and it's coming in transition to where the defense is retreating, trying to get back and find their man. Help is not going to come as quick, but it doesn't really matter if Furman's going to be able to get the ball out of the net and then take off running. Got to get back on defense, communicate if you're Western Carolina.
How about Tyrese Huey? We talk about the red shirt coming off in December, and talk about getting non-conference minutes for a freshman as you get into conference play. This is really, with him getting the red shirt off, kind of getting toward the end of what would be a non-conference type plethora of games to get comfortable, and they're a nice job running the court. Huey now with 3, and the Paladin leads an even 20 at 40-20. Woolbright calls for the screen. You see Furman hedging. Slauson coming all the way out, pokes it away. Baycoat along the baseline, and Garrison takes it away. You see Western Terrence almost rushing a bit. Furman recovering quickly on defense. It seems like it's rattling this Catamount offense. Huey in the corner. He'll take a 3-pointer. That one's off the mark. Slauson battling and is grabbed by Petrakis.
Well, it was just another good offensive possession. The ball is changing sides, and a lot of different people are touching the ball. If you're Western Carolina, it's Bacote gets the ball, and then it's all him. A lot of dribbling for Western Carolina. They're having a hard time creating any kind of decent look at the basket.
Ball run out to Slauson, and he'll slow things down. What do you think? 6 rebounds, 3 assists, but no points for Slauson. Is that just kind of how the game's transpired?
I mean, it's been part of it, and he got into early foul trouble, so he hasn't been on the floor as much as he typically has. But Jalen Slauson, you got to give him credit. He knows his strengths. He's about as open as I've ever seen a person be on that previous possession, but he's not going to force the issue. What ends up happening is Alex Hunter benefits on the other side of the court.
10th made 3-pointer for the Paladins. Hunter now with 6. Petrakis looking to respond. That's off the mark. Long rebound, battled and grabbed by Slauson. He was the only Paladin around it and got it. Over to Garrison, unselfish to Bothwell. Can he hit another one? Yes. How about Conley Garrison? He could have taken a 3-pointer, and he's 47%. Good shot to great shot, and the lead's ballooned to 26.
It's really incredible, really. The way that Furman can attack in transition offense is second to none. And with Jalen Slauson making decisions, they are deadly.
Paladins lining it up from long range. Terrence, the majority of these points, 72% of them coming from beyond the arc time.
33 points from beyond the arc. Like you said, this team is moving the basketball, and when that ball moves crisply, quickly, and in transition, Furman is tough to stop because they've got so many weapons that can shoot the ball from the outside. And Jalen Slauson has been mighty unselfish here in the second half. He's turned down a couple of wide open shots. Good shot. If your best players turn down good shots for great shots, that says something about the culture of your team.
How about a thing? No points, but 7 rebounds. You talked about unselfishness. Those 3 assists. Still playing hard in all facets, and Furman in control here, up 26. Next whistle will go right to another media timeout, as that was a called timeout by Western Carolina. Slauson battling defensively, and there he'll grab the board.
And Conley Garrison is physically really strong, holding his own in the paint.
Leaves it off for Garrison. One more to the corner. Foster, that one's off the mark. Gilmore with the rebound. Furman in the midst of a 7-0 scoring run, holding the Catamount scoreless the last 3 minutes. Western Carolina, Terrence, where do you look for offense right now? It's tough sledding inside and out with this Furman D.
Well, it's hard because Coach Gray, all of their possessions are quick ball screens right into some kind of action. There's not a whole lot of ball movement getting into their actions. So what does that do? Sometimes your offense can get a little stagnant because guys are at the top of the key dribbling the whole time. And as a result, you don't get a high assist output, and the ball doesn't really swing from side to side like it does for Furman.
Looks like the Catamounts have moved to a bit of a 3-2 zone, maybe a 2-1-2 hybrid to try to cool off Furman. Slauson over to Garrison. He'll get an open look, and yes, he won't miss many of those. Garrison now 4 of 6, give him 12 points from long range, and maybe he gets the zone with a team like Furman that moves the basketball. 17 field goals, 15 assists.
I mean, terrific job just moving the basketball, and the same principle applies when you're playing against zone as you are in man. Try to get 2 guys to guard the basketball, and good things are going to happen. How about my man, Mr. Price, from way downtown, shooting over 40% from 3 on the year. He can knock down that shot.
Comes in averaging just 7 points a game. He now has 10, the only Catamount in double digits. Catamount still sitting in that zone. Foster, clip driving baseline. It'll be Furman with 20 on the shot clock when we come back. Furman continuing to push the lead out. It's all Paladins early second half in Timmins. Bryant Lambert, Terrence Oglesby back with you, 49-25. Coach Richie's Paladin is ready to play tonight. And I tell you what, all the things he's done as an assistant in this program have elevated it even more after he took over for Coach Nico Medvedev. Really has the Paladins at a new level over the last 5 years. And what can you say? Even after losses, that tough one at Chattanooga, makes a couple changes and you're up by 24 in a conference game at home.
Well, I mean, the emphasis on defense, I think that's been a big thing. And the offense gets all the credit, obviously, because you've got multiple guys that can knock down shots. Here in the second half, Conley Garrison's 3 for 3 after not hitting many in the first half. There's just so many weapons offensively, but defensively is where this Furman team really stands out. And that's all a result of the coaching that Bob Ritchie is able to employ on his guys.
You mentioned the fastest Furman coach through 100 wins. Just 5 Furman coaches in history with 100 wins. Lyles Allen, Joe Williams, Butch Estes, and Larry Davis. Coach Ritchie by far the fastest. Pegues take another three-pointer, knock it down. JP Pegues starting to show what he can do from long range as the lead continues.
Not a big average on the year, but that's 9 for the young man. He has been really good, just capitalizing and being in the right spots. When you have a lot of good teammates that can make the right play, he's been the beneficiary.
Ball taken away, here comes Pegues. Up to Bothwell. Bothwell through contact. Offensive foul.
Wonder if we
We'll
can take another
look at that one. Yeah, the Furman bench kind of looks at each other saying, okay. Terrence, take another look.
I mean, he jumped with him. I'm not sure you're allowed to do that, but regardless, you know, you have a 3-on-1 break. Jalen Slauson's trailing or Marcus Foster was trailing. Maybe you have a dunk opportunity that way.
Talk about Coach Ritchie, but the staff he's assembled here at Furman, and you don't see, Terrence, the continuity of staffs a lot these days in college basketball, but
guys stick around.
This staff under Coach Ritchie stuck around. Associate head coach Jeremy Groh, assistant coach Jimmy Williams, Tim Johnson. Of course, you got Daniel Fowler. And another big thing is former players, as Price is fouled on the three-pointer, that come back to work with the program. Another big factor is Price will go to the line for 3.
Well, continuity when it comes to recruiting is obviously significant, and the coaches and the players coming into the program are going to have some awareness that guys stick around. And what does that do? That provides them some security in a world of college basketball where that's not the case. Players are sticking around, coaches are sticking around, and that obviously proves well, especially on the recruiting front. And it's done well because Furman has really good players as a result.
Yeah, former players that not only on staff, but others that just come to games. Matt Rafferty, Southern Conference fans will remember, a big-time player down low. Jeff Beans, Andrew Brown, all regular here in Timmins as Price makes the second. Tell you what, I don't think Coach Ritchie loved that charge call, but up 25, he's not going to cause a scene, but he is having a nice, friendly conversation, just saying, hey, listen, what he's taught me through your thinking there.
That's one of the friendliest conversations I've seen Bob have with an official since we've been calling games together.
Third free throw off the mark, rebound taken down by the Paladins. You talked about rebounding. Oh, that's Furman rebounded almost by 10, and that's a factor you said coming in tonight be a key to the game.
Yep, and 1-3-1 defense. Oh, Garrett Heen on top of the big fella. My man has struggled a little bit of confidence. Those type of jams will change things. 1-3-1 zone, and Western Carolina gets out of position, resulting in a hammer by Garrett Heen.
Team like Furman that moves the basketball so well. Tough to keep in his own. 19 made buckets, 16 assists now for Furman.
Well, it's the same thing on. I'm sorry to interrupt you. It's the same thing on this possession. Dribble, dribble, dribble. Hope you create something. Dribble, dribble more. Hope you create something. Furman's moving the basketball.
The pass by Hunter over to Pegues, and now Furman to slow things down. Over to Pegues, looking for his fourth 3 of the night. That one's off the mark, out of bounds. Oh, saved by Foster. How about the hustle in a 28-point game to keep it alive, and Bothwell knocks a 3. Credit Marcus Foster.
Oh, big-time offensive rebound, and that's the best time to shoot threes, Bryant, because the defense is sucked in. Everybody's looking at the ball. If you're able to get the ball out quick and pass it out to your shooters, they're going to be wide open.
And now Foster taking the offensive foul. Keeps one in play, sets up the 3, doing it at both ends, and Mr. Oglesby, it's all Furman.
Oh, they've done a great job defensively in moving the basketball. Furman running off in a route. But how about the slam by Garrett Heen in front of your mama and everybody? Furman up big.
Furman up 31, 57-26, but Colin Garrison and Mike Bothwell, Terrence, they actually have a slim lead right now in the Catamounts, 31-26, as we get set to go in the second half, 10 minutes.
It'll be interesting to see who wins. No, we're not trying to hurt anybody's feelings, but those two in particular, when things have slowed down for Furman, those guys have stepped up. And defensively, Furman has just been everywhere. And there hasn't been a whole lot of ball movement for Western Carolina, but that's a whole nother story. Their ability, Furman's ability to guard the basketball has been second to none tonight.
Unselfish play. This was just a 6-point game about 14 minutes into this first half before Furman hit those 5 straight.
Yeah, it was just a matter of time, though. It was just a matter of time. Furman was, I think, 2 of 15 going into that, and then it doesn't take that long. It takes about 2 shots to go in for Furman to really start feeling it, and they're just getting wherever they want right now offensively.
Catamounts back into a man-to-man. Slauson's still yet to score. He'll be fouled. 4th Catamount team foul of the half. Put 20 on the shot clock. Got to think, look out. Everybody scored that's played for the Paladins 9 deep except Marcus Foster and Jalen Slauson. Those two, though, have combined for 12 rebounds and 6 assists. So everybody's contributing.
Yeah, doing the other things. I mean, and that, you want to tell me that that's not just as or more important to do those other things and clean the boards and get your teammates out in transition? I mean, it's huge. And I feel like Western Carolina at least needs to get in and try to box out. I mean, the rotations defensively have just not been there. And then we have another one-on-one attempt if you're Western Carolina.
That's knocked in off the glass.
Woolbright coming alive. Hasn't had a ton of success so far, but
there's 2 of 7 for the field, 4 points for the junior out of Albany, Georgia. Furman 15 points off 10 Catamount turnovers, a Western team that came in averaging just 13 turnovers a game. Slauson looking to go to work. Double team comes, can't finish the hook. That's another factor maybe look at. We saw the double team come on Slauson a lot, and that's allowed some of these open 3-pointers as the Catamounts miss another one from long range. Look at Garrison, hesitates, reverse layup, couldn't get it to fall. And everybody thinks he's just someone that can light it up. He likes to get in there and bang around a bit.
Well, he's a good athlete when he gets down there, but that driving lane was a result of Tyrese Huey taking off and running in transition. Because he did, he takes the defense with him, and his teammates able to get all the way to the rim.
Foul going against Mike Bothwell will be his third. 3 for Bothwell, and then you have Huey, Slauson, and Anderson. Excuse me, Huey and Slauson with 2, as well as Conley Garrison. So no real foul trouble for the Paladins up by this large margin, but 2 at the line for Woolbright. Correction, just the second on Mike Bothwell as Woolbright makes the first. Paladins only been to the line 4 times, really hadn't had to have too much success down low when they were getting all the looks from, the 10 to 14 foot range.
Well, you hit 14 threes. I mean, you don't really need to go to the free throw line all that much. And when you're shooting those shots, that also means you're not attacking the rim, which as a result, you don't get to the free throw line as much. But if you're shooting it like Furman has, it took a while to get started, but when you're shooting like Furman has, not really a need.
A 30-point differential from long range, and that's part of the big difference in this basketball game now. Catamounts experimented with a zone, back to a man-to-man. It'll be Foster going to the line for 2. We saw a zone, a couple different types for about 5 possessions. Furman pretty successful in back to a man.
Well, you got to get back to where you're guarding your yard, but the problem is, and when I say guard your yard, I mean guard the man in front of you. But the problem is, as Furman moves that ball, you're constantly in closeouts. And whenever they're able to get into the lane, create those closeouts, it makes it really difficult to guard. And as a result, you get some funky matchups. That possession, you get Marcus Foster on the big man for Western Carolina, Joe Petrakis, who doesn't move his feet quite fast enough to stay in front of it.
Foster knocks the free throws down, lead north of 30.
How about the fact that Furman's up 31 points and Jalen Slauson has not scored? That says a lot about your team. When arguably your best player is not in the scoring column and you're still up 31.
Robinson trying to work against Garrison. And how about the defense? Giving up size, forces the turnover. Pegues from Anderson, 3-pointer on the way. J.P. Pegues now with 12 points, 4 3-pointers.
Big-time confidence game for J.P. Pegues. Hasn't been a huge minute guy. Comes in today just running the floor, doing the right things, playing off the basketball. It's his 3rd 3 from the corner today. He's been really good. A lot of one-on-one for Western Carolina. Just continue one-on-one, dribble the air out of the ball, and then guys are just trying to create things. And Furman is just swarming to the basketball.
Anderson again off the turnover over to Foster, who's fouled, and Foster back to the line. Turnovers coming aplenty right now for the Catamounts. Furman capitalizing. These free throws go down. That's 20 points off turnovers, defense to offense.
Nice job, Marcus Foster running the floor. Joe Anderson, he's got a little flash in his game, a little pizzazz, if you will. He'll throw a no-look or 2, whether Coach Ritchie likes it or not. He'll fire him off in transition.
Foster, 3rd straight free throw down. Subs coming in for the Catamounts. Furman now 35-point lead, the largest, as it's just extending in the second half. Around the Southern Conference, a good one going on in Johnson City. Mercer with a 1-point lead over ETSU about midway through the second half.
Gosh, ETSU had some athletes. I mean, Ty Brewer might be one of the highest jumping guys in college basketball. That was really incredible to watch. Furman obviously pulls away, but the athleticism for East Tennessee State and Desmond Oliver is tremendous.
Another turnovers. That was thrown right to Marcus Foster. And Furman, off these turnovers, are getting out and moving. Over in Spartanburg right now, Wofford a 70-51 lead over the Citadel. Big one coming up Saturday night. Furman heads down I-85. Wofford to take on the Terriers, and always a big-time matchup when those 2 teams meet up.
2 like-minded teams offensively. Both teams can shoot the basketball. The biggest difference has been J.P. Pegues. Forget about it. My man's unconscious. J.P. Pegues, the Nashville native, making everything he's shooting so far tonight.
Career high, J.P. Pegues. I'm not even going to look that up. I'm going out on a limb. Career high, J.P. Pegues coming out. But that's another player showing what they could do on any given night for the Paladins. As Catamounts, 3 turnovers in the last 90 seconds. Furman in a 10-0 run. Next whistle will take us to our under 8 media timeout. Backdoor pass, Garrison over the shoulder. Hunter thought about a three, goes all the way down through contact, can't finish. Hunter knocks in that three, that might be Sports Center top 10. Albright all the way off the glass and in. Even on makes, Terrence, how quickly this Furman team's getting into the front court. Foster battling down low. Through contact, can't finish, and ball into the hands of Woolbright.
That's been the first time that Furman has driven the lane and not pitched it out. And sure enough, here comes Mike Bothwell to sub in for Marcus Foster. That's not what you're going to do as a Furman bouncer. That ball needs to pop. And Furman is up 37 points against Western Carolina in a rout.
Furman all over Western Carolina. Bryant Lambert, Terrence Oglesby with you. This is a Western Carolina team that knocked off Chattanooga a week ago in Colorway, but just different styles, and that's really hurt Western Carolina.
Yeah, different style of game. I mean, Western Carolina, if you've looked at their offensive flow and rhythm today, it's been a lot of guys in one-on-one situations attacking downhill. UTC has a big man named Silvio Da Silva, right? I mean, a big, hulking five-man who's a little bit slow of foot. The difference is Furman defensively is smaller, they're quicker, they switch everything, they're able to keep the ball in front. So that changes the way that you need to play. Western Carolina has really struggled to adjust today.
Here's Pegues, got a hand on it down low. We did say that is a career high for J.P. Pegues with these 15. His previous was 10 against North Greenville. In fact, Pegues hadn't had a basket since back in early December, so coming out ready to play. It could be a coming out party as we enter middle of Southern Conference play for the freshman out of Nashville.
Saved them all for today.
Pegues into the lane over to Hunter. Hunter, three-pointer, knocks it through. Alex Hunter, who started quiet from beyond the arc, starting to rein him in, and Furman's up 40. Bothwell, another turnover, now leading to points. Into the front court. Can Pegues do it again?
Give him 6.
No. Off the back. He's trying to get that Conley Garrison territory from long range from last week 9 against ETSU.
What's amazing to me, Brian, is Furman is still guarding. Like, Garrett Heen is staying in front of Woolbright at a high level. Now, you need to finish possessions, obviously, and Western Carolina hasn't done a great job of that as far as finishing layups. So Furman needs to finish defensive possessions, but they're still guarding at a high level. And Garrett Heen, and I say that, and then there's a defensive miscue, but the guys are just continuing to communicate and do a good job of that.
Slauson leaves it off for Hunter. Now Bothwell to run the offense. The only real question mark is Jalen Slauson going to get on the points board. Here's the unselfishness. Slauson over to Hunter, and that's off the mark. And tell you what, he very easily could go down, maybe force up a contested shot. He's finding his teammates. 9 rebounds, 5 assists for Jalen Slauson. Nice finish down low by Woolbright.
Yeah, tough move by Montarius Woolbright.
Woolbright now with 10. He joins Price in double figures for the Catamounts. Trying to get it down low to Heen on the block. Good defense there by Madison Monroe. Rare instance, late shot clock situation for the Paladins. Bothwell contested 3 in front of the bench, and Mike Bothwell now has 24.
When it rains, it pours, my friend. Furman has hit everything since about the 6-minute mark in the first half.
It's going to be a 3-shot foul against the Paladins. Pegues.
Veteran move by Pegues right there. I don't know if we have a replay or not, but as soon as he fouls, he knows he's in trouble. Number 0 there on your screen. He knows he's in trouble. Do not look down at your coach on the bench. Keep your eyes averted from coach, or else you're going to come out. It looks like we're going to have a 2-shot foul, but stay on the floor, stay disciplined, and Western Carolina has really struggled to score, but veteran move by the freshman.
Bothwell's 24 points. That's his second highest on the season. He gained a lot of national attention from that big victory at Louisville when Bothwell had 30 points when Furman knocked off the Cardinals to break that long non-conference November home winning streak for Louisville. Clock going to 5. Game not in doubt. Furman, who led by 17 at the half, has outscored Western Carolina by 22 here in this second half. Tell you what, credit the Paladins is that was thrown away inside but lost by Monroe.
And they still find a way.
Sometimes though with the big lead at the half, it's hard to keep the focus, and next thing you know, a 17-point lead might be down to 10. Well, in the first 3 minutes, it blew the opposite way and into the ballgame.
I mean, 42-20 here in the second half. Furman has just continued to play solid basketball, and that's really all it comes down to.
Heen takes it himself, one-handed jam, fakes the handoff. Garrett Heen giving 4. 2 dunks tonight for the sophomore out of Charlotte.
That's a big-time move. A little fake the handoff, get all the way downhill.
That's a fun one in the film room the next day. Bothwell's going to get called for the foul, his 3rd. Hey, what you've said it, Terrence, a couple times about the defense. The Paladins are going to need them for these 2 games downtown, weekends at the Well, the 2nd and 3rd of the downtown atmosphere. Great venue. You and I were able to call the last game, and 2 big-time matchups later this season, February 15th and 19th.
Not a good venue, a great venue. Coach Mike Jones at UNCG, excellent coach, first year at UNCG from Radford, and he had multiple Big South championships there, and then obviously Wofford and Furman is a big-time matchup. 2 like-minded teams. The difference in that game, Furman guards a little bit better, but both teams can really shoot the basketball. Max Klesmet for Wofford is a terrific young man who can shoot the ball with distance. He can create his own shot, so can Alex Hunter, but not able to make that one fall.
Did you ever play when you were playing for Clemson a game downtown Greenville?
No, never did. They spent a whole season down there at Clemson after I left when they were making renovations to Little John Coliseum. But it took him a second. He needed a basket. He got one.
If you would have said Slauson's first point's a 3-pointer under 4 to go in the ball game, I said Furman might be having a hard time. But Slauson hit that and looked at the bench and kind of laughed. And that was the only thing in doubt. Slauson gets on the scoreboard. But tell you what, he ain't showing him up.
I'll tell you what, a fake handoff, and then he's going to take off downhill and finish way above the rim with authority for the big man. Off 1 foot, clear the runway.
All Paladins here, 3:53 to go. Take a look at what Western has upcoming. It doesn't get easier on Saturday. The Catamounts head down to Macon to take on the Mercer Bears, and then they'll head to Charleston. So starting off a bit of a road streak, and they're going to have to get things right before Saturday.
Well, they're going to have to figure some things out, too. Mercer presents a completely different challenge with their size on the interior. Western Carolina is going to need to do a good job of communicating. If they're going to double their bigs, they can make it really difficult for you.
In Johnson City right now, a 1-point ETSU win. As you take a look at what Furman has upcoming, we talked about the game at Wofford, and then a big one in Macon as Mercer's going to try to get revenge after Furman knocked them off downtown.
Hey, you can't overlook VMI. Coach Dan Earle's got those guys playing at a high level. Jake Stevens is a quality five-man as there is in the league. Can drill, pass, and shoot at about 6'10", 255 pounds. He is excellent.
1-1 at the line for Robinson. Hey, we talked about doing that last time out. This is the point where quote-unquote reserves that don't get a lot of action, that practice day in, day out, they're looking at coach, standing up, stretching. Robert Swanson kind of caught your attention, smiling, saying he's ready. The senior out of Myrtle Beach is waiting for his moment.
My man's loosening up his arm. I love it.
Well, look, guys, and we talked so many about the contributors for both these teams, but everybody goes out there, practices hard, prepares them for games, and we'll probably get some minutes here. Still 3.5 to go.
And people, they don't get, man, that's another strong drive by Bothwell, but these guys don't get the recognition they deserve. They are there every day in practice. A lot of times they're having to go double the reps. As you see most of those guys in black shirts there, I mean, they do their job. And to come in, they're scout team offense, they're scout team defense, they're presenting what the other team's going to present to you for the next game, and those guys provide tremendous value. So you can't overlook those guys. Those guys, along with managers, most unappreciated people in college basketball, without question.
James Repass, a freshman, who'll probably see some action as he progresses his Furman career, but the likes of Rhett Lister, junior out of Easley, South Carolina. Jalen Pugh, the senior out of Cartersville, he's seen some big-time action as he'll check in right now. Pugh, a couple years ago, Furman went into Auburn, lost in overtime. First half, Furman was struggling a bit. Jalen Pugh went in there, hit about 4 3-pointers. Bruce Pearl looked down at the bench and said, do we miss this guy on the scout? But Jalen Pugh will get some action here with the Paladins up 82-38. Tell you what, somebody you don't want to get on the wrong side of, Coach Bruce Pearl.
No. Woolbright with another move.
Pegues attacks all the way down, went for the one-handed jam, had it blocked. Huey thought about it.
That might have worked at Hillsborough High School in Nashville. Maybe not Division I in the Southern Conference.
Acote down the lane, back-to-back buckets as Gilmore finishes. So you talked about Furman's defensive intensity, even up 40 minus the last 2 possessions. And tell you what,
Coach Ritchie wasn't happy about that one.
76 points averaging coming in for the Catamounts. Held just a 42 so far. Back out to Anderson, wide open. Give Heen the assist, too easy.
I mean, it's been target practice. You come in and trap from the ball. All you have to do is pitch the ball right back out. Makes it a really simple play and a nice shot by Joe Anderson, who has been unconscious this season from beyond the arc.
Anderson tonight, 9 points, 3 of 5 from long range. Bothwell has 26, leading all scorers. And
nice pass.
Nice pass down low. On his birthday as well. Mike Bothwell's birthday. Having himself a big night. And here comes James Repass.
Get the big fella some love.
Freshman out of Jacksonville, Florida, stands at 6'10". Seen some action in some limited games this season. Repass played in 9 games. Handful of buckets. Tell you what, he's a player that could develop and contribute over the years, has that size. Can provide minutes down low, and he'll catch it along the baseline. Back out to Anderson, the exact same situation, different result.
Jalen Pugh making his presence felt, attacking the boards, not able to grab the carom, but nonetheless. Wow. I can't believe he got that whistle call. It looked like they were straight up. About a minute 30 in a 40-point ball game. We got to let that one slide, baby. Got to let that one slide.
Take another look, Repass.
That looked pretty clean to me, sir.
And straight up, take another look from behind. And
That's about as clean as you're going to get in college basketball.
Seen a lot more not called. First free throw off the mark. Tell you what, band's getting big back there because 2 misses in a row is a Bojangles coupon as Monroe gives the crowd what they want, and that's free Bojangles. Are you gonna go around and find ticket stubs now after the game? Approaching 60 seconds, Furman firmly in control. Over to Anderson, now Pugh.
Another one.
Pegues, give it to him. Yes, J.P. Pegues, 18, all coming from long range as the Paladins push the lead to 44.
And the ball just continues to move if you're Furman. And Pegues has benefited just as much as anybody today. Let's get Robert Swanson in there. Get my man Rob Swanson in there.
Senior out of Myrtle Beach getting some action. Now, I'll tell you what, this is when you see what Furman's done.
Wow.
Started 2 for 13, since 19 of 30.
It's been a clinic.
You know what we want to see here? Also, Ben Beaker, junior out of Hendersonville, checking in. And I think we need a 3-point action here for Robert Swanson and now Rhett Lister. Coach Ritchie doing a nice job giving these crowd a chance to applaud J.P. Pegues checking out. And look at the embrace with head coach Bob Ritchie. Tell you what, this is a point, Terrence, in your career where you look back and say, do you have defining moments? Is this one of those defining moments?
Absolutely it is. This is a confidence-building moment. Now, when JP plays against some other teams, is he going to get this type of burn? Maybe, maybe not. But he now has the confidence to know that he belongs at this level. This is a big-time performance by him.
Beaker has it knocked away. Quickly the other way.
Oh, wow.
Hello. Big dunk. Marlo Gilmore, the junior out of Norway, South Carolina. 8-second differential. Swanson's going to run the offense. Repass, dribble, handoff, Swanson. Down the lane, the floater leaves it short. Out of bounds, will stay with the Paladins, 8-second differential.
Swanee's got to shoot the first one.
Look, he was ready.
He was wide
ready
open
for
from
it.
3. You got to let that fly, baby. It's your time to shine.
Hey, what? He's been ready, though.
I don't know what they're arguing about at the scores table. It's
Better 40-point game, 23.8 to go. Got to get it right.
I appreciate the professionalism.
Inbounded to the corner, quick trigger 3, Pugh off the mark. Rebound by Lister. Battling down low and has it taken away by the big fella, David Edward. Now the other way, back-to-back dunks for Gilmore, 88-50. Final 8 seconds set to run off. Terrence, impressive performance for the Paladins.
Extremely so. Defensively, they just took Western Carolina out of everything they wanted to do. And offensively, you saw the stats. 19 out of their last 30 three-point attempts, and all a result of excellent ball movement and playing together. An excellent performance by Furman today. That ball, when they're playing unselfishly, they are tough to stop.
Look, I'm just glad Slauson got on the scoreboard late. He came over and kind of gave you a wry smile saying he wasn't shut out. But tell you what, balanced scoring for the Paladins, even though you have Bothwell with 26, 18 Pegues, so many other players with 9, 5, 9. As Mike Bothwell on his birthday is your Papa John's player of the game, and just one of many buckets inside and out.
No-brainer situation, and he kept them afloat at the beginning of the game where they weren't shooting the ball so well early, but man, how good was he? 4 of 9 from 3, just presenting opportunities for himself, and when the ball moves, they are terrific. And I'm going to move out of the way so Bob Ritchie can come in here and say a couple of words.
Coach Bob Ritchie coming over to get the headset on. Mike Bothwell, Papa John's player of the game. As though Bothwell's going to come around again. We'll get a quick row with Coach Ritchie and then put Mike Bothwell to come in. And Coach, obviously disappointing loss Saturday. You guys were ready to play, and tell you what, y'all started heating up, and I think you finished 19 of 30 from long range after 2 of 15 start.
Well, it usually happens when you have good ball movement, and that was our lowest ball movement game of the year on Saturday, lowest assist game of the year, and really worked a lot the last couple of days of just getting back to our ball movement, and I thought our guys just shared it. I thought we had a little bit of a rough start. And then all of a sudden the ball started popping. We had some guys really step up. J.P. Pegues, strong game. And Joe Anderson, I thought those guys came in, got the game, got the tempo where we wanted it. And then our defense, our drive defense, did a good job for most of the night. And,
best in the SoCon in defensive intensity or efficiency, that showed tonight.
Yeah, it definitely did. And, we were able to guard the bounce and keep the ball in the paint for the most part. Did a good job in transition until some of that stuff at the end. But Mike Bothwell, great game. Jalen Slauson did a lot of good things. He didn't score a ton, but he did a lot of good things for us. And, we just had a bunch of guys that all 9 guys I thought did a positive for us tonight. And it's always good when you get complete team wins.
Big one on Saturday night. You head down I-85 to take on the Terrors. Every night's tough in this league, but a big one on the road.
Yeah, they're all big. I mean, if you've been following long enough in the league, I mean, this team right here beat Chattanooga on the road, at home last week. And, you can't take a night off, and you got to make sure that you're continuing to try to get to your best and, making sure that you're playing to your core and to your identity. And we'll enjoy this one tonight, and then just like all of it, man, this league is intense, and that's what makes it fun.
We'll get a quick word with Mike Bothwell, the birthday fella, after Coach Bob Ritchie giving his thoughts, 88-50 over Western Carolina as Mike Bothwell comes in. What a night. Papa John's player of the game. Comes in 9 of 17 from the field, 26 points. And, Mike, not a bad birthday showing for you here. Happy birthday, great win.
Appreciate it. Glad to be get back on the winning track. We had a tough one on this weekend, but I'm glad that what we worked on in practice and what we watched in film, we carried over today on both halves, which is something we've been working on. So I'm glad we were able to play a good defense today, and it led to a big margin for us.
J.P. Pegues comes out, hits 6 3-pointers, and y'all started slow offensively, but I felt your defense for 40 minutes was solid, and you're able to blow it open late first half.
Yeah, I joke with J.P. a lot. I tell him he's my son, so he came out and performed well on my birthday, so he might actually try to be like me a little bit. But no, he's been working steadily, and we all been talking to him and making sure he stays ready and stay with it, because sometimes as a freshman, you never know when you're not going to be, so you got to be ready. And he's been working hard every day, staying with it, not getting discouraged in himself. So I'm glad he was able to come out and help us a lot, especially when we were kind of struggling offensively. He came in and had a big spark for us.
Taking a look at some of your highlights, you got it going from beyond range, but you battled down low, really balanced, and you had kind of the inside game and outside working for you today.
Yeah, I just try to play patient, get to my spots, see where the defense was at, try to play off 2 feet, and so if they helped hard, I'll be able to kick out and find open ones. But once you get in the flow like that, you kind of just get in the rhythm and be happy to play with each other. And a lot of teammates were finding me, and we were finding each other, so we got a good flow, especially in the second half when we were able to make shots and get inside and out.
Mike, congrats on the win. Happy birthday. We'll let you celebrate with the team.
Thank you.
That's Furman senior Mike Bothwell giving his thoughts on his birthday as his team cruises to an 88-50 victory over the Western Carolina Catamounts. For Byron Apt, his entire ESPN crew, for Terrence Oglesby, I'm Bryant Lambert saying so long for Greenville, where the Paladins roll.
Let me prove that crown I'ma lift that. Yeah, that love I'ma pay back. When it all gets too tough and the fireplace is hot, when you are all you got and it's time to take that shot.